Welcome to Drafting Out Loud. We're looking at the DraftKings market movers here on the Leverage Lab. On today's episode, instead of going over risers, fallers, and values, we're going to focus on the four fallers that the sharps like. Let's get into it. First off, the biggest faller is liked by the sharps. If you watch people like Shady Advice and others using the sidekick, or if you watch some of the streams where they do the high dollar drafts, Harold Fannin is getting overdrafted by some of those people or getting drafted ahead of ADP by in almost every single one of those drafts. So there's something going on in that market compared to this market that is different. And that probably means that at 98.2, he's probably a screaming value here on DraftKings. Now, I've not been drafting a lot of him, and I'm not sure where to draft him exactly, like how to draft him exactly, but I've been thinking about it, and I think I might have a little bit of an answer. So he goes down here at 98.2 and 98.4, sorry. And was he 98.2 on here though? Yeah, so he's dropped zero point 0.2 more since I ran the numbers. Okay, so still falling. Um, I think the way to get him is to be okay with like not great quarterbacks, or obviously sacrificing another position. But a lot of times I think that's quarterback. You're either getting your running backs early and then saying, you know what, I don't need to get two great quarterbacks, and then you're trying to push quarterbacks and see what happens. Or maybe knowing you're going to draft a lot of wide receivers, so you draft one less wide receiver in that area. I do think I need to figure out ways to get Harold Fannin on my team a little more often. And I think that might be with saying, you know what, it's okay if I don't get Brock Purdy or something like that, or it's okay if I don't get Jackson Dart. And I think that's actually happened with the market. You can see here that Jackson Dart's fallen all the way to 101. And um, and even though Fannin's falling, Dart's fallen even more. So people are kind of saying, like, you know what? There's these other players that are better than these quarterbacks. And I think we just need to do a little bit more often with someone like Fannin. Why is he fall? Why do the sharps like him? If there's one simple way to put it, it would be past results are the best predictor of future. Past performance is the best predictor of future results. He caught a lot of passes last year. Regardless of what else is going on in that offense, it's expected he catches a lot of passes this year. And this noise about this Q tag, a little bit of a hamstring injury or whatever it is the reason or not practicing, I guess, is why he's falling. And the sharps are saying, you know what? It doesn't matter. We're going to take him. Number two player falling down the boards of the sharps like is Ladd McConkey. Matt Harmon is a huge Ladd McConkey fan. Why does he like Ladd McConkey? Number one, he likes the offense. Number two, Mike McDaniel led offense. Number two, he thinks they're going to be doing a lot of two wide receiver, two tight end sets, and he thinks that Ladd McConkey can flourish in that type of environment because of his awesome route running skills. If you look at his data from last year, even though he didn't do as well, his route running was even better than maybe his rookie year, if I'm not mistaken. And because of those things, he thinks Ladd McConkey is primed for a huge role this year. I kind of tend to believe, after listening to what he had to say and knowing it's the offensive coordinator combined with a couple other things, that there is a big ceiling here, possibly. And so getting him here in the third round or in the fourth round, early fourth round, I think he is a great price. If we go and look at DraftKings and we scroll up to where he's currently going right behind Zay Flowers, which I think is fair to do. I don't know which one I like more out of the two of them. I did take, I think, Ladd McConkey over Zay on one when it looked like Ladd was going to be rising. But now that Ladd is dealing with a hamstring injury, he's starting to fall just a tad, and you can push him into the fourth round. And so I'd be doing that if you think you can do that. But I think where he's going is good. I like to take him over at least Kyren Williams and maybe even over Egbuka as well. So I do think there's a little bit of extra value in him. And if he's there in the fourth round, I think I'm probably taking him every single time, most likely. Next up, the player that the Sharps really like that's falling is Cam Scatabo. If you were watching is it BGDE today, he was ranking the running backs and which ones had the not the top running backs, but the groups after the top running backs and ranking their potential for breakout into a top 12 running back this year. And the first running back on that list was um, the rookie in Jeremiah Love, not falling right now, by the way. And then the second player on the list was Cam Scatabo, who's going in order of where they're getting drafted a little bit too. But basically, Jeremiah Love had the most likely chance of breaking out, and Cam Scatabo had the second most likely chance of breaking out. I tend to believe that he's a good value here, most likely, at least one that you don't want to miss out on in case he does become a great value. He seems to be running and doing all those things. Somehow he's going to potentially um, avoid kind of the curse of these pretty major injuries and maybe come back fully healthy right away in week one of the NFL season, which is rather crazy if it happens. But if it happens and he does what he can do, which is catch passes, score touchdowns, and command a backfield, then command the targets, both running and receiving in the backfield, then I think you want to have some of Cam Scatabo. So if he's falling, I'm definitely taking him. And if he starts to rise, I'll continue to sprinkle him in. But I'm trying to get him as much as I can as he falls down the board. And it looks like after a little bit of excitement where he went up 1.5 picks, or maybe even a little bit more than that, right? Maybe like 2 point something picks. He is now falling a little bit over the last couple of days. No new news on that is all as far as I can see. Now, if we go and look where he's being drafted at pick 43, it's hard to say like you should take him over a certain player. So part of me is like, I hope he falls because it's hard to say you should take him over Luther Burden or Colston Loveland or Garrett Wilson. Um, I think over Malik Neighbors probably makes sense right now because there isn't any true positive news on Malik Neighbors. Well, you have true positive news on Cam Scatabo, so I don't expect Cam Scatabo to fall a whole lot more. While even though he is on the fallers list, while I expect Malik Neighbors to fall, Scatabo is going later than Josh Jacobs on Underdog, but he's going ahead of Josh Jacobs on DraftKings. So that's a tricky one of which one you should take more. It looks like they're evening out a little bit, right? They're almost right neck and neck now again. Maybe Scatabo falls a little bit and flips Josh Jacobs, but I think they're both interesting profiles that you want to be on some. And again, Scatabo is one that, again, the Sharps are talking up a bit recently. And the last one on the list that's falling that the Sharps are talking up is Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith rose up a ton once it was once AJ Brown got traded to New England, as you kind of expected. You if you were smart, you were kind of trying to take him when he was getting into like pick 29, pick 30, pick 31, like getting a little bit closer to the middle and late part of round three. And if he's going to fall at all, I'm going to take advantage of that slide. I agree with JJ Zacharista that Devonta Smith is a good pick. Was taking a ton of him in the late third round pre-draft and even fourth round before that. And we'll still take him at a cost of early third round, but not as much as I will because I think there's other profiles there too that you need to be looking at. So if we go here and see where there's Devonta Smith right there, pick 28 right now. Let's go see if Underdog or DraftKings changes so quickly. So yeah, he's still 28. Okay. At pick 28, players that I'm taking ahead of him right now would be Jeremiah Love. I've also, and I think Rishi Rice actually did jump Devonta Smith on DraftKings. So I guess that doesn't count anymore, but I was taking Rishi Rice ahead of Devonta Smith, expecting the jump. And it's here on DraftKings, not so much on Underdog. I'm also taking Devonta Smith over Josh Allen. And I think over Trey McBride a little bit as well, at least some of the time over Trey McBride. So I agree. Devonta Smith is a nice pick. And I do think there's a couple players in this range that I'd rather prefer him over. And again, McBride and Allen are probably the two biggest ones right there. And Pickens is a little bit risky depending on what's going on. He actually joined camp, so maybe a little bit easier. Okay. So those are the four players the sharps are on that the market apparently is not. Let me know what you think. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.